What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, August 25th, 2023, and I have some more breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 5:03 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have another Doomsday plane in the air, a presidential Doomsday plane. This is the plane that the president would use in the event of a nuclear war or some kind of cataclysmic event. The president would board this plane and he would command our military and our nuclear arsenal from the air, because being in the air is actually safer than being on the ground, because a lot of our enemies know where all of our bunkers are, so they could target our bunkers with ground penetrating nuclear warheads. So the president would board this plane and command our nuclear arsenal from the air. And so there was one in the air earlier, and now we have one doing loops outside of Stratcom Offutt Air Base. So this is really interesting. That's the second Doomsday plane in the air today, and the third one in the last 48 hours. And we had two B-1 Lancers in the air today near the panhandle of Texas, outside of Abilene, which is home of Dyess Air Base. We still have one of these Lancers in the air. One of them already landed. One of them is in the air now, doing these loops. Very interesting. So I wanted to just update you guys on this. We also had a B-52 that took off from Barksdale Air Force Base, and it was doing loops over central Kansas. That B-52 has since landed. Let me just show you guys the screenshot from earlier. So here you can see the E-4B Night Watch presidential Doomsday plane that took off from Barksdale and went up to Stratcom Offutt Air Base earlier in the afternoon. And at the same time, we had a nuclear war command and control plane doing loops just east of Tinker Air Force Base, which is the home of all of the nuclear war command and control planes. And then at the same time, we had a B-1 Lancer and the B-52. So wanted to just update you guys. Something is going on to have this many presidential Doomsday planes in the air on a Friday afternoon. And then just in the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've been seeing a lot of these presidential Doomsday planes in the air. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I thought I would let you know. A lot of people are saying that this is a training exercise, that they do this all the time. Yeah, that is true. Of course, they have to do training. But me personally, I have not seen this amount of activity over such a short period of time. The last 2 to 3 weeks, there's been a lot of activity. Of course, we know that Prigozhin was either killed or disappeared. So this could be related to that. Maybe they're expecting some kind of a civil war in Russia now, and they're on high alert for that. But we need to make sure we're getting prepared. Make sure you guys are getting prepared, because things are going to escalate in the European theater. We have Norway now saying that they're going to give F-16s to Ukraine, and already Denmark and the Netherlands have pledged to give F-16s to Ukraine for a total of 61 F-16s plus what Norway is going to give them. So Ukraine is going to have more F-16s than Poland, and they're going to have more F-16s than a lot of Western European countries. So that's pretty serious. And they're requesting the JSAM missile, because the Storm Shadow missile and the Taurus missile does not work on F-16s. It's not compatible. So if they get the JSAM missile, they're going to be able to hit Russian targets from as far as 300 miles. Okay. So things are escalating, and we have an excessive heat warning posted for the southern plains and down into the Gulf Coast. So if you live in these areas here, shaded in pink or whatever color this would be, It's like a pinkish color, lavender, whatever, not lavender. Forget the name of that color. It's like a purplish color. Um, if you live in this area, make sure you're staying indoors. Make sure you're staying cool. Don't do any kind of extreme outdoor activities that could overheat you. And we do have a very active Atlantic basin right now for hurricanes, and we have multiple tropical disturbances. We have Tropical Storm Franklin just north of Puerto Rico, and it's heading north. It's going to stay out at sea, so it's not going to hit the eastern seaboard. But what's interesting is it's forecasted to remain a hurricane all the way up into some pretty cool waters. So um, you know, if we had the proper steering conditions, this would remain a hurricane basically all the way up into New England. So anybody from Maine to Florida, you need to be on high alert. If you live close within 100 miles of the Atlantic coast, from Maine all the way down to Florida, you need to make sure you have a good plan. We are in an El Nino, so that doesn't really favor a lot of landfalling hurricanes on the eastern seaboard. But that being said, that doesn't mean that there won't be any landfalling hurricanes, and all it takes is just one to do massive damage. Okay, we currently have a disturbance near the Yucatan Peninsula that's going to go north towards the west coast of Florida, and it has an 80% chance of development over the next 7 days. Let me read to you the latest update from the National Hurricane Center as of 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday today. Northwestern Caribbean Sea and eastern Gulf of Mexico satellite images indicate that the area of low pressure over the northwestern Caribbean Sea is gradually becoming better organized with increasing thunderstorm activity and a better defined low-level circulation. Environmental conditions appear conducive for further development during the next several days, and a tropical depression is likely to form late this weekend or early next week while it moves generally northward over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Interests in the Yucatan Peninsula, western Cuba, and Florida should monitor the progress of this system. Okay, so it's going to just go straight north, over western Cuba, between this little chunk of the Caribbean, between the Yucatan and Cuba. It's just going to go north towards Florida. So this thing could hit Florida, guys. And then here we have Tropical Storm Franklin, and you'll notice that they have this thing staying a hurricane all the way up here, up near the 40th parallel, okay, near 40 degrees north. So, all it would take is for some steering conditions to steer a storm like this a little further west, and this storm would ravage the entire I-95 corridor in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, which is the most populated area in the United States and North America. So wanted to just update you on that, but I will be monitoring this disturbance. It's looking like it's going to strengthen, so I'll keep an eye on it for you. Make sure you guys have your notifications turned on during hurricane season, so if there is a hurricane coming, you can get my updates, my emergency alerts. I will be doing updates if there's any hurricane about to make landfall. I will do an emergency alert to let you guys know and provide updates at least once or twice a day. Here we have the current solar disk, and you can see that the sunspots have really quieted down. We just have a few small ones here, and then we have one decent sized one, 3413. Pretty big sunspot there, but otherwise, the other sunspots have really shrunk, and the sun is really going quiet fast. So what I think is we've already hit solar max for solar cycle 25. I think we're already past peak. I predicted earlier this year that the solar max would be sometime late this year through maybe mid next year. But it looks like we've already hit the solar max, and it looks like we're on the way down. to the next solar minimum. So, that means that winters are going to start to get colder and colder as we have less solar irradiance as the sun weakens, which is a natural cyclical process. The sun has 12-year cycles where solar irradiance and solar activity increases and then decreases and goes up and down. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to keep you updated. Stay tuned to my channel for continuing coverage of the war in Ukraine and any updates on the possibility of nuclear war and World War III, weather updates, breaking news, and then, of course, prepping, firearms, survival, outdoors. You got it all here. So thanks for all your support. I appreciate you guys very much. I appreciate all the moderators. I appreciate all of my Patreon members. If you're interested in joining my Patreon, there's a link below in the description. I post certain things there that I don't post here for various reasons. But other than that, check out my sponsors. I have a variety of different sponsors, from outdoor gear, survival gear, emergency food. So check out my sponsors. I have some discount codes you can take advantage of. And take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.